Whether or not you have anxiety, you've probably heard of Xanax. Somewhere north of 50 million Americans have a prescription for the drug, making it the third most prescribed medication in the country. That's a lot of pills, but what's in them and how do they work? This is Your Anxious Brain, and this is Your Anxious Brain on Xanax. First, let's talk about what anxiety looks like in the brain. Doctors are still working out the root causes of anxiety. Our brains are complicated things that we don't fully understand yet. But what they've noticed is that when people are feeling anxious or panicked, there's an uptick in activity in these parts of the brain right here, which are responsible for processing emotions and making decisions. We don't fully understand why that's happening. It may be that natural checks on overactivity have gone on the fritz, but it helps explain why Xanax works. Xanax, also called alprazolam, is a part of the class of drugs called triazolobenzodiazepines. That's right, now you say it. Molecule names are like one of those German words that's really a whole sentence but has been smashed together. When scientists hear that crazy sounding key smash, they can actually tell how each syllable relates to the molecule's structure. And since Xanax's structure is key to how it works, let's take a quick dive in. Triazolo refers to these three nitrogen atoms here at the top. Benzo is for benzene, the ring of carbon atoms on the left, and diazepine is the ring between them with two nitrogens. Xanax's shape lets it interact with proteins on the outside of neurons in your brain. These GABA-A receptors are gates that let chloride ions into your neurons. Chloride ions are really important because they disrupt the balance of electrical charges between the inside and outside of the neuron. Charge is crucial since neurons use electrical impulses to send their signals. Here's what I mean. Your neurons are like wires that send signals all through your body. Where one neuron meets another, the messages are carried by molecules, but inside the neuron, the signals are electric. It's electric! When the charge balance is disrupted, the signals get interrupted. It's a bit like a relay race. The runner is an electrical signal moving down the axon. At the end of her leg, she passes a molecular baton across the synapse. But if you've taken a Xanax, the charge balance along the axon is out of whack wherever there's a GABA-A receptor. Almost like someone dug a bunch of holes along the relay racer's track. That's going to make it a lot harder for her to get the baton to the next neuron. She might not be strong enough to hand off the baton at the end. She might not even make it through her leg, or she might never leave the starting blocks to begin with. The Xanax molecule is like a key that fits in the GABA-A lock. The shape, structure, and orientation of the rings help Xanax fit snugly in GABA-A's binding pocket. That triggers the flood of chloride ions into your neurons. If there's no signal to the next neuron, your brain quiets down. There are biological molecules in your brain that do the same thing to GABA-A. Xanax is just copying their work. For whatever reason, those natural processes aren't working in the right way in the anxious brain. So by activating GABA-A receptors and quieting down neurons, Xanax is like hugging your dog during a thunderstorm and telling her everything's gonna be okay. But for your brain, kinda nice, right? On the flip side though, one of the side effects of Xanax is sleepiness or sluggishness. The drug's basically stopping your brain from chit-chatting so much and it starts to feel like nap time. Now, scientists don't know exactly which neurons or which parts of the brain cause anxiety, although recent research points to some likely culprits. What we do know is that Xanax is effective for helping people with acute anxiety to live a normal life. Unfortunately, Xanax can lead to addiction, especially for people who are abusing it and not taking it under a doctor's supervision. Overdoses are a problem too. Xanax and other benzodiazepines are among the drugs that send people to the ER the most, at least in the USA. Some doctors worry that Xanax and other drugs in its class are being prescribed too often, or too casually. That said, for the millions around the world who use it to treat panic attacks and other anxiety issues, Xanax can be a lifesaver. Have any other chemistry questions about how the body works? Or want to know how other drugs do what they do? Leave those questions in the comments. We might just tackle them in a future episode. Thanks for watching!